They had almost nothing. Just two battered bikes, a sick mother, and the kind of desperation that carves itself deep into your bones when the world seems determined to forget you. In a place where hope was a luxury they couldn't afford, Eli and Jordan Porter had mastered the art of survival. Keep your heads down, work hard, pray the lights stay on for one more month. That on a bitter morning in Brooklyn, their lives were about to change forever. The city was still cloaked in shadow as two bikes clattered along the cracked asphalt, their chains rattling like distant thunder. Eli, 18, and his 15-year-old brother Jordan leaned low over their handlebars, their breath fogging the icy air under the dim orange glow of the street lamps. Neither boy slowed down. They couldn't afford to. Those bikes weren't just transportation, they were survival itself. Eli's handlebars were patched with duct tape where the grip had long since worn away. Jordan's chains skipped sporadically, threatening to derail with every hard push. "We're barely gonna make it," Jordan muttered, glancing at the spiderweb cracks across the screen of his cheap prepaid phone. "I know," Eli panted, pedaling harder. Their destination, Gerard's Deli, a crumbling corner store that paid minimum wage but didn't ask too many questions. 6 days a week, it barely kept them afloat. But it was the only barrier between their family and complete collapse. At home, their mother, Diane, was getting worse. Her heart condition meant she hadn't worked in months. Their 10-year-old sister, Mia, stayed home to watch her when they couldn't. If they lost these jobs, there would be no food, no rent, and certainly no medication. Failure was not an option. Last week, Gerard had fired a cashier for showing up 4 minutes late. 4. Eli gritted his teeth, pushing harder. Jordan said no more, just tucked his head down and raced alongside him. Then, up ahead, something caught Eli's eye. A black luxury sedan, wrecked, its front end buried in a ditch, steam rising from its fractured hood. His stomach twisted, and lying just off the curb was a man, a middle-aged figure in a fine gray suit, now stained with blood and dirt. His leg bent unnaturally. His face was ghastly pale under the cold light. He groaned weakly, barely lifting his head. "Help me," the man rasped. Jordan looked at his phone again. 2 minutes, he hissed. Eli shot him a look. "You serious?" "I'm serious about rent. About Mom's meds." Jordan barked back, torn between survival and instinct. Eli's chest burned. "We can't just leave him," he shouted. The man groaned again. Blood pooled under his temple. Without another word, Eli dropped his bike and rushed forward. "Forget the job," he barked over his shoulder. Jordan cursed under his breath, but followed. They knelt beside the stranger. Every attempt to move him made him cry out in agony. "We're making it worse," Jordan said grimly. Eli glanced at their bikes. "Lay him flat. Make a stretcher." "That's the dumbest idea ever," Jordan snapped. "You got a better one." They didn't. Quickly, they laid the bikes side by side, carefully rolling the man onto the metal frames. His body sagged under its own weight, and his shallow breathing terrified Eli more than anything else. "For blocks," Eli grunted. "Feels like 4 miles, Jordan muttered. They pushed, fighting every crack in the road, every pothole that jarred the man's broken body. Cars honked. Drivers shouted. Eli ignored it all. "Stay with us," he begged the unconscious man. By the time they rolled through the hospital's sliding glass doors, both brothers were drenched in sweat, their muscles screaming. Nurses rushed forward, barking orders. A stretcher appeared. "You boys did the right thing," one of them said as they whisked the man away. But reality hit fast and cruel. They arrived at Gerard's 20 minutes late, and their boss was already waiting. Gerard, a thick, balding man with a permanent sneer, exploded the moment they walked in. "You're fired," he bellowed before they could explain to no second chances. No discussions. By the time they trudged home, every step felt heavier than the last. The apartment was quiet, the sort of silence that fills all the cracks despair leaves behind. Diane sat at the kitchen table, hands trembling over a pile of bills. Mia peeked from the bedroom doorway, clutching her stuffed rabbit. "You're home early," Diane said softly, not looking up. We got fired, Jordan said. No one cried. No one shouted. It was the kind of defeat too familiar to waste energy on. They told her everything. The crash, the man, the bikes, the hospital. Everything. You did the right thing, Diane whispered, even if it cost you everything. That night, the apartment felt colder. They huddled under blankets, not from the cold, but from the crushing uncertainty of tomorrow. Jordan couldn't sit still. We need money, he said, his voice hollow. I know, Eli replied. I know someone. Jordan continued hesitantly. Marcus. Eli stiffened. Marcus was the kind of man who always had money and never had honest answers about how he got it. We're not getting in bed with him, Eli said firmly. You got a better idea? Jordan challenged. Eli said nothing. But inside, he made a vow. Find another way. Sleep didn't come. Morning crept in like a slow poison. And then, the phone rang. The landline, reserved for schools and emergencies. Hello, Eli croaked. Is this Eli Porter? A calm woman's voice asked. Yeah. Who's this? My name is Naomi Caldwell. My husband, Vincent, was brought into St. Luke's Hospital 2 days ago. You and your brother saved his life. Eli's heart stopped. We've been looking for you, Naomi continued. My husband would like to meet you. The next morning, a sleek black SUV idled outside their building. Jordan fidgeted nervously. This is a setup, he muttered. Eli said nothing, shoving his nerves deep down. The driver didn't speak. He simply drove them out of their crumbling neighborhood into a part of Brooklyn where the sidewalks sparkled and every building looked like a photograph. They pulled up at the Belmont Grand Hotel, a place so fancy it probably charged for breathing. Inside, everything gleamed. Marble floors, gold chandeliers, hushed voices. In a private lounge at the top floor, Naomi Caldwell waited. She was elegant, poised, her presence commanding without needing to say much. Thank you, she said simply. You saved my husband's life. Eli and Jordan shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Naomi leaned in, her gaze unwavering. Most people wouldn't have stopped, she said. You did. And because of that, we want to help you. She laid it out clearly. Full medical care for Diane. A fresh start at a prestigious school. A future. No strings. No catch. A gift for choosing compassion when the world demanded survival. When they told Diane, she broke down in silent tears, the kind that don't fall easily after years of holding them back. Within days, they moved. The townhouse wasn't extravagant, but it was safe. Warm. Real. Mia danced barefoot on the hardwood floors. Diane stood in the kitchen, running her fingers over the counters like she was afraid they'd vanished. At Danforth Academy, Eli and Jordan were outsiders. They were the charity cases. They heard the whispers, felt the stares, but they didn't back down. They studied harder, listened longer, worked smarter, and slowly, quietly, they built a place for themselves. One day, a teacher pulled Eli aside. You ever think about Washington University? He asked. You've got the spark they're looking for. Hope flickered to life. Months passed. Seasons shifted. Diane grew stronger. Mia slept peacefully. Jordan laughed more freely. And Eli received his acceptance letter. One cold evening, he sat on the porch, staring at the envelope in his hands, when Naomi Caldwell appeared. You kept your promise, she said. What promise? Eli asked. To lift someone else up when the time came. Eli remembered the boys he'd turned away from Marcus, the choice he made to break the cycle. And he understood. Saving Vincent Caldwell hadn't just saved their lives, it had transformed them. Because in a world that often demands you look away, stopping to help, choosing compassion, chooses your future too.